Storyteller, can you tell me why you chose such a sad song? Storyteller, can you tell me what happens to your words after they're heard? 'Cause so much more than we could know. There's so much more than we could feel.
Morning, everyone. Welcome to all you out in Zoom land, and given the state of the weather and the power situation around here, I suspect there may be more Zoomers out there than we have had recently. So thank you all for coming. I obviously am not David Goldsmith. My power went out about 8:30 Friday evening. It's still out. And I had no phone and no internet. So I came down here early this morning. I woke up the right time, but I thought I better come down and see if there's anything on the phone, and found out that David has been trying to reach me all day yesterday. Apparently Diane tested positive for COVID yesterday. Teresa. And mild symptoms. So she's not in the hospital, but David has said it's important that I isolate as well. So obviously he's not here. So at 8:45 this morning, I found out that I was going to be giving the talk today. Yes, well, don't applaud yet. I haven't done this in about 20 years, step in at the last moment. So we'll see how and I just had my first cup of coffee since I don't have hot water at home either. So anyways, we are all in this together, and it will be beautiful and wonderful and exactly the way Spirit has intended. So let's join together, and we'll start off with singing Come Light, Light of God, as we light the Christ candle, a symbol for the presence of Spirit, not only in our midst, but in our hearts and in your homes if you're not with us, so that all are part of the glorious promise of new life. Come light, light of God, and then we'll have our affirmation, and then I am home. If you would like to light your candles at home as we do that, you're welcome to do that as well. Okay. Brent?
Give light to creation, enlighten our heart, and remain with your world. Come light, light of God, give light to creation, enlighten our hearts, and remain with your world. I am home, I am home. I have traveled far along this road, and now I'm home. Shalom, shalom. In the love of God, I am home. I am home. I am home. I have traveled far along this road, and now I'm home. Shalom, shalom. In the love of God, I am home. Right.
Let us say together our affirmation. We are an authentic, transformative, spiritual community, centered in God, we co-create a world that works for all. Amen.
Yeah. Fall down 6 times, get up 7. Fall down 6 times, get up 7. In the midst of pain lies the promise of heaven. Fall down 7 times and get up 8. Let go of doubt, fall into grace. Fall down 6 times and get up 7. In the midst of pain lies the promise of heaven. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. Let go of doubt, fall into grace. We find our strength in learning who we are. Learn who we are, finding our strength. We find our strength in learning who we are. We learn who we are, finding our strength. So fall down 6 times and get up 7. In the midst of pain lies the promise of heaven. Fall down 7 times and get up 8. Let go of doubt, fall into grace. Fall down 6 times and get up 7. In the midst of pain lies the promise of heaven. Fall down 7 times and get up 8. Let go of doubt and fall into grace. Let go of doubt, fall into grace. Let go of doubt, fall into grace.
Well, this morning, in case some of you don't know me, my name's Bianca Thayer, and I'm the president of the Unity Board this year. So I have been voluntold to come and do platform this week. And I am happy to say that my power is back on, because I told David yesterday, I said, if my power doesn't come on, I won't have taken a shower for 2 days, and I really don't feel very clean to come and do church on Sunday morning. But I was lucky, and my power came back on last night. So, and the roads were cleared of those huge trees that fell down out by Cape George Road. We couldn't get into town. So life is good. Blessings all around. The original theme for today was supposed to be blessings and the art of transformation, that David told me to find an inspirational reading for you all. And so I was looking and found something sort of funny and sort of cute from The Science of Mind. I don't know how many of you actually read The Science of Mind, but this is what actually brought me to New Thought. Good old Ernest Holmes and all of his teachings. And one of my favorite monthly articles is by Murphy, the dog whisperer. And not sure if you, Murphy is a very interesting little dog who always has really great wisdom. And this works with transformation. So it is called Caterpillars and Heaven. Murphy says, I asked a caterpillar what he thought about butterflies. Well, I've seen thousands of them, he said. and I think they're really beautiful. I have no idea where they come from. I suspect that they are angels. You know, all caterpillars believe in angels. I think it's a belief we're born with, and I have no idea why. I had to ask another question. What do you think happens after you die, Mr. Caterpillar? He says, I really don't know anything for sure, but what I do know is when I've eaten everything I can eat and have grown as big as I can grow, I'll make a house to die in. I'm told I'll go to a special place called heaven where I'll be given angel wings. I don't know much about that place since no caterpillar has ever been there. I hope there is a lot of food to eat. You know I'm always hungry. Murphy says, humans are a lot like caterpillars. They don't know what happens when they transition from this world, but they do know energy is never destroyed. It just changes form. For all of life's mysteries, there is comfort in the unknown, but infinite universal potential. The caterpillar's journey is a lot like ours. We fill up on everything life has to offer and transform into our most beautiful selves along the way. So that's Murphy. Don't you think that was cute? So now it's time for the daily word, and the daily word for today is balance. I honor life's shifting rhythms. Sometimes trying to balance my schedule, meet my obligations, and even find time for the things I enjoy can leave me scrambling to figure out how to fit it all in. Even now when I'm retired, I still have that problem. Why is that? I don't get it. Today, I take my cue from nature and notice the rhythms of the seasons and the tides, the cycles of growth, and the order that underlies all things. I appreciate how seamlessly the natural world balances itself and restores itself to harmony. This gift of harmony and balance lives in me. I honor myself when I flow with it, instead of forcing my will upon it. I listen to my body's many signals. I rest when I'm tired, eat when I'm hungry, and socialize and seek solitude as I need to. As I care for myself, I find balance. And from Ecclesiastics, for there is nothing better for people under the sun than to eat and drink and enjoy themselves. So, I like that one. Balance. I honor life's shifting rhythms. And now Karen is going to do the meditation today. But Ron is going to lead us into meditation with sanctuary. Try not to put your finger on the button. Keep your fingers up.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I am a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I am a living sanctuary for
Let's take a moment now and focus our awareness on the one presence and one power that's always active in our lives, God the Good. Pay attention to your breath, breathing in and breathing out. Slowly, slower, steady. Breathe down into your heart space and feel the love that's generated from that space. And now bring that energy, that love energy, up into your throat, the center of expression. And feel and be aware of that presence within that center of your body that allows you to speak and express words of love, words of challenge, words of prayer, and move on up into the center of your forehead, your center of creativity. And know that heart-mind connection is always there for you, that state of coherence that leads you to right answers. And take a few more deep, slow breaths to relax both your mind and your body. Make your breaths long, slow, and steady. Rhythmically inhale and exhale until you move into the present. And when you are in the moment, you are entering a world of possibility. Now there is a powerful intelligence within you that is giving you life, which loves you so much. When your will matches its will, when your mind matches its mind, when your love for life matches its love for you, it always responds. It will move in you and all around you, and you will see evidence in your life as a result of your efforts to be greater than your environment, to be greater than the condition in your life, to be greater than the feelings that are memorized in the body, to think greater than the body, to be greater than time. All these things means that you are tugging on the garment of the divine. Your destiny then is a reflection of, a co-creation with, a greater mind. Love yourself enough to do this. And know that you are divine. You are a spiritual being in the midst of a human experience. And you're led to right answers. You're guided and directed in all that you say and do. And you claim perfect health for you and for your loved ones. Know that divine order works in your life, organizing your day so that life just flows for you. And you step into that flow of life knowing that you are magnificent. Accept these words knowing that all works together for your good and that you are divinely guided. And be thankful for the many blessings that come your way as you walk in this cloud of light energy, emanating light, receiving light, knowing light, generating light. You are magnificent, and so it is.
Whatever happens, you can look at it as a blessing. Hit a bump in the road, it interrupted my flow, it tossed me all around, it taught me how to slow down, what it takes to get there, from a world that is lost to a vision that's new. I wouldn't say there's a cost. It blesses me, all that I receive. With a form and a name, I feel pleasure and pain. But as I reach past the shore, I see I'm so much more. It blesses me. It blesses me, all that I receive. Blesses me, it blesses me, all that I receive. When we want only love, love is all we will see. When we want all that love, then love is all that will be. When we want only love, then only love is we'll see. When we live in that love, then love is all we will be. It blesses me. Blesses me, all that I receive. It blesses me, it blesses me, all that I receive. It blesses me. Blesses me, all that I receive.
First thing David said to me when I talked with him, he said, "You know that message last week, the blessings of COVID?" Well, here's going to be a chance to demonstrate that because Teresa has it and I'm isolating, and okay, Tom, you can follow up today. Wonderful. But the experience of not having power has done a couple of things for me. It reminds me how dependent I am on electricity, for heaven's sakes. If I didn't have a propane stove for a heater, it's been 40 degrees out for the last couple of days, and so my prayers have been for those who have had electric heaters and haven't had the opportunity to even stay warm. And I dragged out of storage a comforter, which my mother, when she was living in a senior high-rise apartment about, 15 years ago now, she loved to quilt and do that kind of thing. And she made a quilt for a king-size bed. And once or twice a week, she and her lady friends would go down into the break room or whatever it was they had downstairs, and they would work on this quilt. It is huge. I've kept it in storage because I have a kitty cat who likes to do this on it, and I said, no. But every time I use it, and I've used it the last couple of nights, it is the most wonderful thing because all the hands that worked on it, dozens of people spent months making this quilt. It's the warmest quilt I've ever experienced. Not only just from the fact that it keeps me warm physically, but when I snuggle in under it, I thank all those people who put in so much time and so much love and so much service, not really knowing where it was going to go and how it was going to be used. And I thank them. And I feel their warmth along with the physical warmth. And that makes it a blessing. There's blessings all over the place. All over the place. Another blessing I've had, and one of Tom's rules for living is that there are no coincidences. A new friend of mine who you may have a chance to meet fairly soon. I don't know, Jen, if you're watching on Zoom from Pittsburgh today or not, but she is a professor of Persian literature and told me about a book which I ordered through this thrifty book place that normally takes 2 or 3 or 4 weeks for something I ordered to get here. It's shipped out of Florida and they send it to Louisiana, and then it goes to Nevada, and it bounces around Nevada a few different places, then it goes to San Diego, and then it goes to LA, and then all this stuff. I can track it. But this one came in a week. It is a book by somebody I'd never heard of. I suspect you've not heard of either. Her name, if I pronounce it right, is Elif Shafak. She is Turkish. She's a novelist. She writes in English and in Turkish. And her book is called The 40 Rules of Love. It's the story of, Rumi in the 1240s in Persia, and his friend Shams, who many people think was a very young man who had a huge influence on Rumi. Actually, he and Rumi were the same age. They were in their 30s, in about 1245 or something like that, 700 and some years ago. And they sought each other out through mentors, thinking Rumi needs some, he's really smart, he's really intellectual, he's packing them in the mosques each Friday. This is all Islamic. But he hasn't learned love. He's got the head, he hadn't got the heart yet. And this book is a somewhat fictional but also probably historically more accurate than many of the things we've heard about this story of how they met. And it's interspersed chapter by chapter with a woman who's in her 40s in suburbia with a family that apparently has it made, but the marriage is falling apart. So she's going through change. So it's about light and darkness. And I'm going to share with you a couple of selections in here because I think it does carry over a bit what I was talking about last week. And it does talk about blessings too. Yeah, come on. Here we go. Oops. This is the first words of the novel. Between your fingers you hold a stone and throw it into flowing water. The effect might not be easy to see. There will be a small ripple where the stone breaks the surface, and then a splash, muffled by the rush of the surrounding river. And that's all. Throw a stone into a lake. The effect will be not only visible, but also far more lasting. The stone will disrupt the still water. A circle will form where the stone hit the water. And in a flash, that circle will multiply into another and another. Before long, the ripples caused by one plop will expand until they can be felt everywhere along the mirrored surface of the water. Only when the circles reach the shore will they stop and die out. If a stone hits a river, the river will treat it as yet another commotion in its already tumultuous course. Nothing unusual, nothing unmanageable. If a stone hits a lake, however, the lake will never be the same again. Stillness, balance, a different way of looking at it. We can make emotion, and it seems like life is going by so fast, it just kind of happens, and nobody notices, we don't even notice, we don't even see it. But if we're calm and still and waiting and expectant and open, the ripple effect can go out and out and out and not die until it reaches some far shore that we never would have imagined. It's a blessing to have this book. I would have read it all the way through. I'm only about 40% of the way through because it got dark and I didn't have any light. And my kerosene lantern won't work with reading. So another blessing that happened. The only thing I had in the house that worked for entertainment after I couldn't read anymore was my CD player. It had battery power. So I had enough batteries. So I plugged it in and I started rifling through some of my old CDs. And I found one that I had not listened to probably in 5 years. It's by a fellow by the name of Peter McKenna. Has anyone heard of his music? Very spiritual, very, very, very incredibly good. And he's a lot like Simon in some ways. He sings the kind of songs that Simon sings. He does kirtan. He sings in non-English also. Incredibly beautiful songs. I discovered them 15, 20 years ago and had forgotten about it. The one I think of that started off was, let it be a blessing, let it be a blessing, let it be a blessing, let it be. It will be a blessing, it will be a blessing, it will be a blessing. Let it be. Let it be. Let it happen. I think that even now is what we are called to do, is to seek to be that stone that gets tossed into the lake, to understand and recognize that we could be that stone and we could be a blessing. It might be a blessing to get tossed into the lake. Or it might be a blessing to be the lake into which Spirit tosses the stone. Or both. Or both. Another quote from in here. 40 Rules of Love are what Shams, this young wandering guy that had such an influence on Rumi, has come up with, and they're scattered throughout the novel. He called them fundamental rules. Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you. And do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you are used to is better than the one to come? Another one. I put this together about 10:30 in Pam's office this morning, so there's going to be random thoughts around here. This is Shams talking in this chapter, and he has gone to a monastery to learn to be a dervish, a holy man back in the time of when the Muslim Islamic folks were probably at the peak. The Crusaders were coming and sacking Jerusalem about then. The Arab world was the place where science, literature, poetry, arts was flourishing. And his mentor, the head man there, said to Shams, "There lives an erudite scholar in a city not far away," Rumi. "He's good with words, but not so with metaphors, because he's no poet. He's loved, respected, and admired by thousands, but he himself is not a lover. Because of reasons far beyond me and you, someone from our lodge might have to go to meet him and be his comrade." Shams responds, "My heart tightened in my chest. I exhaled slowly, very slowly. I couldn't help remembering one of the rules. Loneliness and solitude are two different things. When you're lonely, it's easy to delude yourself into believing that you're on the right path. Solitude is better for us, as it means being alone without feeling lonely. But eventually, it's best to find a person, the person who will be your mirror. Remember, only in another person's heart can you truly see yourself and the presence of God within you." Another book I'm reading right now, Anam Cara by John O'Donohue, has a section on faces, and he says, faces are the mirror of the soul. If one looks carefully and faithfully and openly, without prejudgment and selections, into someone's face, you can see Not only all the possibilities for them, but you can see the face of God because you see in their face reflected back who you are, who you want to be, who you can be. Eventually, it's best, he thought, to find a person, the person who will be your mirror. Remember, only in another person's heart can you truly see yourself and the presence of God within you. I had that happen recently too. Johnny Bryant, the man who sang for us at the end of the service last week, had foot surgery, or had ankle surgery first part of this past week, significant ankle surgery. And he's laid up right now in the place where he's staying, and I got a call for the TLC group. Could we bring him some food? And so I've been doing that Friday, and yesterday I took some food over to him. Yesterday, of course, when there was no power, so it was all cold food. But the day before, I actually cooked, cheese omelet and turkey bacon and all this nice stuff. He is lying in bed, not able to move, in a space the size of my guest bathroom. With no power, he says, I get to think, I get to meditate, I get to pray, I get to read, and the mirror that he offers, as we heard from his song last week, is just absolutely remarkable. It was a blessing to go there and to do it, even as I dodged roads that were closed and limbs that were, and not even sure where I was or how to get in there. We find what we need when we allow looking at someone else to see a mirror for ourselves. I'm going to read from the Daily Word too. Only the Daily Word that I use, I recycle. This is the one for November, December 2016. For Saturday, November 5th. It's entitled, As I Believe, So I Receive. Spiritual truth exists whether or not I believe it. Divine love is present whether or not I trust in it. Universal intelligence is available whether or not I rely on it. While I'm grateful that Spirit is eternal and changeless, I recognize that my capacity to fully receive Spirit's bounty hinges on my faith. If, on reflection, I find that challenging times have clouded my belief in Spirit, I simply correct my thinking, which sometimes is easier, sometimes harder. I renew my belief in the eternal reality of spiritual abundance. I accept that God's bounty and grace are meant for all, including me. I regain trust in my ability to freely give and receive. I align myself with divine mind, and truth flows readily into my awareness, clearing the way for greater good. Quote is from John's Gospel, where Jesus says, I have come as light into the world so that everyone who believes in me should not remain in the darkness. That gives me a sense of calm. It gives me a sense of readiness to continue to explore, to see in times of change or times which could have been very distressing. Here I am at trying to live with me and the cat, and the only thing that's working is the propane heater. At least, thank goodness for that. And it's also part of what we are going to be studying, actually this Wednesday, in the Storm Before the Calm group, which will be meeting here from 10 to 11:30, also on Zoom, if you'd like to be a part of that. And it talks about the four fundamental questions of life. Who am I? Where am I? Why am I where I am? And what do I intend to do about that? Walsh says, I do not believe that one can ignore these questions and rapidly evolve. None of us can. We must end any personal confusion we may have about these questions. There are many other questions in life, but these are foundational. Or we will go through our days and nights having no idea what we're doing or why we're doing it. This is the situation with most people on the earth today. And that's the reason why the world is in the condition that it's in. I did not move forward in my life until I answered the four fundamental questions of life. And by the way, I answer them daily, sometimes during the day as events transpire. Used this way, these questions are not only informative, but transformative. And the first of these four is the real key. It unlocks everything. It invites us to look deeply at the biggest mystery, the mystery of our own identity. By that, I don't mean, of course, our name. I mean our identity in the cosmos. Now, there's no right answer to this question. There's only the answer you give. Who am I? At Unity, we say, I am a spiritual being having a human experience for divine reason. That's who I am. The second question seems simple, but the answer may not be. Where am I? Where do you conceive yourself as being? That is, what is this place in which we experience our existence, this human experience that we're having? How do you conceive it? How do you hold it? How do you hold it in your reality? I'm speaking here of how you hold it conceptually. Yes? I'm not talking about your physical description of this place. I live on the planet Earth. It's a third rock from the sun. It's in Washington State. We can see mountains and ocean, and there's whales that go by sometimes and all that stuff. I'm referring to your conceptual understanding of this place. Is it a place of learning? Is it a school? I have never learned so much since I came to Port Townsend 10 years ago. It's been absolutely astounding. I wish I'd been here 40 years. Do you experience the world where we are as a place of testing, an examination room? Is it a place of proving or contesting or competing like a giant racetrack? An athletic field? Where some are winners or some are losers? What is this place where we find ourselves? The mind begs to know, where am I? Again, there's no right answer to this question. And yet, until I gave it some answer, I had no conceptual framework within which to hold my life's experience. And absent such a framework, these experiences themselves felt essentially meaningless. Are you okay, Ida?
She's having a little incident.
Oh, Okay. Let's have a moment of prayer for Ida. Lord, fill her with your Spirit, give her strength, give her swift recovery, relieve every difficulty she may be having right at this moment. We trust your power, we trust your grace, we trust your strength. Amen. Okay, let's continue. Absent such a framework, where am I? These experiences themselves are essentially meaningless, no different from a fly or an ant. I felt that I was simply a more sophisticated life form. I had a life expectancy, and barring unforeseen circumstances, I knew I'd be here for X amount of time. But what is this place? And then the next question looms. Why? Why am I here? Why am I where I am? Why am I not somewhere else? Is there a somewhere else? What's the purpose of my being in this time and place? Is there a purpose? Who would give us one? I don't know how a person advances in their evolution without giving some thought and eventually some sort of answer to these questions. Many people respond to these questions with a curt, I don't know, and let it go at that. I couldn't do that, and I don't encourage any true students of life to do that. If they truly don't have an answer, I encourage them to create one. That is, decide what their answer is. Why am I where I am? Out of pure intention. In this way, they live their life from intention rather than living their life by default. A life lived by default is a life lived according to the default responses of the majority of the people on earth. I hope that none of you ever again chooses to live your life like that. Most of us have lived at least portions of our lives in this way. But we will never have to again if we don't want to. I'm going to stop here because we're doing conflicting energies right here. Indeed, indeed. Let me give 2 more readings, and I'll stop there. Where is it? Where is it? Going back to my daily word one more time. For November 6th, 2016. No, I'm not. I'm just going to stop. I'm going to stop. Let's just have a moment of prayer. For Ida, I guess 911 is being called, so it'll be busy here in a moment. This seems to be a day of all kinds of strange behaviors. Spirit, we come to you right now. Whatever our circumstance, you're giving us not theory, but a practical application of how to love and care and comfort a friend, a fellow spirit, a blessed soul. We pray that you would be with Ida right now as she goes through this experience. Give her the grace to know patience. Give us the strength to send healing energy to her, love and thankfulness for all that she has given us, with her mind, with her thoughts, her massages, with all the gifts that she has shown us. Thank you. Thank you for Ida, and we thank you and bless her. And now, Spirit, as she encounters a time of challenge, watch over her, guide her. May her whole trust be in you and your healing power and your infinite love and mercy. We are all spiritual beings having a human experience for a divine purpose. It doesn't always matter if we know what that purpose is. Our job is to open our hearts and our minds and ourselves and say, Lord, here I am. Let it be done according to your word. And so mote it be. Amen. I'm not quite sure what to do. I've not had this happen before in a service. Not even sure what time it is, but quick song. The offering basket will put out by the door, and you can leave your gifts there. There is some coffee. There are a few items of food. And thank you for being here.
And prayers for Ida.
Prayers for Ida, definitely. Also for Johnny. And for others you may know of that we don't know of right now. And your arm, how's your arm doing? Good, good, good. Kelly's arm is doing better. Okay, song. Order.
All is well. All is in perfect order. All is well. All is in perfect order. All is well. All is in perfect order. All is well. All is in perfect order. Let thy will be mine. Let thy will be mine. Let thy will be done. Let thy All is well. All is in perfect order. All is well. All is in perfect order.
Grace, Mercy. We'll just stop there rather than form a circle and singing and all of that. And I hear the sirens. They just pulled up. It's going to be busy here. So, grace, mercy, and peace be unto you this day, every day. Blessings, healing, strength, mercy, every good gift be ours, now and always. Thanks be to God. Oh, Ida is here and she's having a little incident. We've called 911 and so we're going to just stop things right now. Okay? We'll see you next Sunday. Thank you.